There's one thing, if you ever look behind me here on the shelves that I have in my game room, one of the things that you'll notice is Lunar, one right there, so Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete. Those two games were my first experience into getting into the Lunar games. I didn't get to check out the Sega CD ones until years later when I could actually get my hands on them physically. But those games were brought to us by Game Arts. As a matter of fact, over on those two shelves there, my PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 shelves respectively, are the Grandia games. So Grandia, and then Grandia 2, 3, Grandia Extreme, etc. I'm a big fan of the first two Grandia games. The other two, not so much. They didn't captivate me in the same exact way. But I am a big-time fan of the first two games. And Game Arts brought all those to us, and I love them for that. Especially the first two Lunar games, I consider to be some of the best RPGs, period. Just in general, I consider them to be some of the best. And Game Arts right now had actually made a survey, which I had filled out already, but I thought I'd do a video about it, because I did one about the Square Enix one. But anytime that a development studio is going to ask the opinions and get some kind of understanding or an idea of what their fans want or interested in, that's a good thing. And Game Arts is doing just that. As a matter of fact, the most recent entries from them that I've played as far as titles that they've produced are the Ragnarok Odyssey games, which I know were on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. Don't know if they have plans to release them on anything else. PS4 would be kind of nice, just kind of tossing that out there. But they were asking, you know, what platforms do you play games on? What kind of programs do you use to go and get things like, do you go through Good Old Games? Do you go through Humble Bundle? Do you go through Steam to go about getting your digitally distributed games? Do you go through PSN or Xbox Live? Or, you know, do you go through Nintendo Wii U? And a whole bunch of things like that. They were asking about what games of their franchises that you have played, that you have interest in, what kind of genres you typically play, how often you play games. Just a whole bunch of questions, just basically trying to figure out, okay, what kind of audience do we have and what do they want to see? And what I'm starting to think is that they're going to be re-releasing a lot of their older titles onto things like PC, on the PSN, Xbox Live Arcade, and all that other shit, which I like that idea a whole bunch, because there's a lot of those titles people just haven't had the chance to play. For example, right now, if they said, we're going to release Elysia Dragoon, which is Sega Genesis / Mega Drive title, if they were going to go and re-release that onto Steam for a couple bucks, fuck yeah, I would love to see something like that, because it's a fantastic game. If they were going to put both of the Lunar games and one little Humble Bundle type deal and put it out there, fuck yeah, again, I would support it, because I love the games enough to go and support them. They'd even talked about what kind of things would you like to see in addition to these. So keep in mind, these aren't just straight up ports that they're talking about. This could be things of, they add in achievements, they go and update the graphics, they add in additional dungeons and monsters and stuff, new music, and just a whole bevy of things, because that was one of the other questions is, with these kind of ports of older games, what else would you like to see? Or just, you know, completely redo them from scratch. And I would be completely fine with just seeing additions to the original games. You know, I like that idea a whole bunch, because then, for anybody who's an old school fan of it, it gives them that additional reason to go back and invest time into a classic, enjoy it, and see something new. And for anybody that hasn't experienced it previously, then go and pick up the game, and not only do they get to experience a classic game, but they get to see it, you know, with a whole bunch of additional extras tossed in just for the hell of it. And I want to see that. That's the extra care that I love seeing a studio go and do. You know, they brought us the Sylphid games, if you play them, which I know Sega CD, PlayStation 2, don't know if they're on anything else, but they've made so many damn titles. I'm like, holy hell, I love this idea. So again, anytime the development studio is going to ask you for your opinion, you should totally give that. I mean, anybody's individual voice does actually matter. And if they want to listen, start speaking, start saying something. So the Grandia games, please, by all means, re-release those. Especially the first two games, I love them. Hell, Grandia 2 has one of my favorite female characters in all of video games in it, and that's Millennia. And I love her to death, because she always reminds me of Ryoko from the Tenchi series. Like one of my favorite animes. If you ever heard me talk about anime, then now you know. But in the first Grandia game, I swear up and down, is one of the best PlayStation 1 RPGs, period. It's so damn good, and it's so fucking fun. You know, really good voice acting, really good graphics, just overall an extremely fun game. I've always liked that game. And again, Grandia Extreme, not a big fan of. Grandia 3, it's alright. I just don't think it's nearly as good as the other two. The Lunar games, I love. You know, if there is something, if they ever even saw this video, could we ever get that, the Magical School one that was on Sega Saturn? It was exclusive to Japan. If we could ever get that translated officially and brought out, I would love to see something like that. That right there would be fucking killer. So that would be the one thing that I would just toss out there. Please make that happen. Down in the description, in the, below the video, if you want, just go and click on that. You'll go and see a link to the survey and stuff, and just fill it out. I know that you have to hold control and click some of the stuff, so I don't know how they'll work on a mobile device, so just kind of letting you know ahead of time. But again, it's important just to let any of these studios know, and especially a classic game studio like Game Arts, just fuck yeah to that. Anyhow, I thought this would be worth sharing, and it's really good news. A big old fucking thumbs up from AlphaOmegaSin himself. So anyhow, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers. Game the fuck on.